Would you brag about having gotten an abortion as if it was some badge of honor? Do you think it is adequate? Do you think it is sane? Yes, if you're Lily Allen or Miquita Oliver. Hi, I'm Maria Palermo, clinical psychologist, and on this channel we talk about various topics and we analyze them from a psychological point of view, so if you're interested, please keep on watching. Before starting this video, I want to remind you that I give in-person and online therapy, so if you need a consultation, please feel free to reach me out on my social media, my phone number, my email, all of them will be listed down below in the description box as well. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, it will help me out a lot, and if there's a specific topic that you would like me to talk about, leave it in the comments down below or feel free to DM me on my Instagram. I'm always open to suggestions and I love interacting with you all. Abortion is a really sensitive topic to talk about because on one hand, there are people claiming that it is women's right to decide what to do with their bodies, including getting pregnant or avoiding so in any way. Others argue that an abortion is not actually women making decisions on their bodies, as the fetus is a whole different person that doesn't have a voice yet, and getting rid of it is the murder of another human that's inside a woman's belly. Others say that if a female has been a victim of SA, it's fair to get an abortion to not be connected to their abuser or re-victimized forever because of a child, and others agree to abortions only if it's proved that the baby will be born with some disability or chronic disease that will put their life at risk in some way. There is a whole debate out there. Now, I as a psychologist cannot give you a moralistic speech on how correct are abortions or not. That goes against my ethics. What I can do as a mental health provider is listen to my patients' opinions, viewers' perspectives in this case on various topics like this one, empathize with them to comprehend why they think the way they do and work around it in favor of their mental well-being. But at the same time, it is my responsibility to warn people about the possible psychological outcomes of their decisions, educate them about the potential effects and consequences so they can analyze what's best for them and their mindset. And that is why today I decided to use Lily Allen and Miquita Oliver as a case study, as an example of why abortions should not be taken as a game, should not be romanticized nor desired, and instead should be seen as a serious matter. If you don't know who these two women are, don't worry, I'll give you a brief introduction. Lily Allen is a 40-year-old British singer, songwriter, actress, and media personality. She could be considered a nepo baby for many because her dad is comedian Keith Allen and her mom, Alison Owen, is a movie producer. Nonetheless, I gotta say that when she was young, she did try to make a music career on her own. She dropped out of school after being expelled of 13 institutions for drinking and smoking allegedly. She started working in a music store and unfortunately got involved in substance trafficking allegedly. Then she actually started consuming substances and more alcohol because she wasn't landing any opportunity in the music industry, so she finally used her dad's contacts and was able to have a decent music career. That didn't outdo the trauma though, but more on that later. On the other hand, Miquita Oliver is a 40-year-old woman, British as well, known for being a TV and radio personality. Her dad apparently is a teacher, very low-key. We don't know much about him, but her mom is Andy Oliver, who was part of a post-punk group called Rip Rick Plus Panic, and a TV presenter as well. Unlike Lily, we don't know much about her life, just a few facts. She grew up in a low-income household without a present dad, which explains why we know almost nothing about him, and she's talked about going through some unspecified mental health related difficulties throughout her life. The question you may be asking now is, how are they related? Well, Lily and Miquita are friends since forever, and in 2024 they partnered with BBC, a traditional media company, to launch a podcast called Miss Me, in which they talk about every single thing you can imagine that's happening in our culture today. They talk about the music industry, politics, fashion, beauty standards, about digestive health, I guess, mental health, therapy, and because they are self-proclaimed feminists, they do talk about said topic, including the patriarchal imposition of virginity and today's topic, abortion, in one of their latest episodes, which they referred as contraception. I'm specifically going to break down certain clips from this particular episode, not the whole thing because they talk a lot about various topics, including intimate, personal topics. Anyway, the scenes I picked up are relevant to me due to how insensitive Lily and Miquita are towards abortion, how of a joke it is for them, and how dysfunctional their mindset could be to act so chill and fun when having such a conversation in a public platform. Let's watch.
I have an IUD now. I think I'm on my third, maybe fourth. And I just remember before that was a complete disaster area. Like I was just, I'd get pregnant all the time. All the time.
Were you fertile like me in those days?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I said today to someone, I was like, I actually don't know if Lily's had an abortion. I didn't know. Okay, God. See, why didn't we talk about that?
Abortions. I've had a few.
Right.
But then again, I can't remember exactly how many.
What, really?
Yeah.
Why didn't this come up in last week's episode where we were just talking about abortions?
Because I was just letting you run with it.
Reveal everything.
I can't remember. Yeah. I think maybe like, I want to say 4 or 5.
Yeah, I've heard about 5 too. Lily, I'm so happy I can say that and you can say it and no one came to shoot us down.
No judgment.
No judgment. We've had about the same amount of abortions.
Okay, first thing in here, Lily says that now in her mid-30s, late 30s, in her 40s, she has been using an IUD. But before that, she didn't actually use any contraceptive device, nor she specified if she was receiving some kind of birth control treatment, but she was all about being a crazy B-word, in her own words, getting pregnant all of the time, hence why she had 4 or 5 abortions, which she doesn't exactly remember. And she says that while shrugging her shoulders and rolling her eyes, showing how indifferent she is to the matter, as if it was some kind of game. And Miquita is no better. She started laughing. She pointed at Lily and told her, "Oh, so you were too extremely fertile and we both have the same numbers of abortions? Twin." Then she admits not knowing that Lily had abortions before, and Lily looks at her indignant because how could she think she didn't have any contraception ever? To then proceed to sing an abortion jingle. Guys, this is why being informed is important. If you're sleeping with someone or various people in your most fertile years, especially without being cautious, a pregnancy is a given. If you truly want to be a crazy bee, as Alien said, then at least save yourself some of the stress and anguish and get some kind of contraceptive help, because abortions are not the solution. Actually, they put your overall health at risk, including your mental health. We'll dig a little bit into this in a moment though. But generally speaking, it'd be better to avoid going around giving your body to some random person just because, whether if you're a male or a female. Mental health wise, it could cause you to get emotionally numb to meaningful relationships long term, could generate intimacy issues with a serious partner in the future, could harm your self-esteem, your partner's self-esteem, could depress you, and it could also result into some sort of PTSD or manifestation of some of its symptoms. I know many others say that embracing your sexuality the way you want is liberating, and it might sound convincing or even pressuring at times, but if you take that way too literal and run with it, it wouldn't be liberating, but rather it could trap your mindset in a cage filled with trauma and discomfort.
I remember once getting pregnant and the man paying for my abortion and me thinking it was so romantic.
I actually think that is romantic. Do you not think that's romantic? Whoops. Am I an idiot?
What? Getting rid of the problem.
No, but like,
let me take care of this. Really? Okay.
If you're both like, let's not do this. I don't want it. No, neither do I. Oh shit, I don't have any money. Okay, well, I can make that. I can sort that out.
No, I don't think it's generous or romantic. Think about how long that investment, like how much is it? Like 500 quid?
Yeah.
Kids are a lot more expensive.
They're like, yeah, I'll pay that.
They're like, yeah, I've got you, babe. Don't worry about it. I really care about you. I really care about you.
Within all these, the swimming around all
Tell
these.
you how romantic it was. I don't think he texted me after.
Shove the cash in your mouth, told you to fuck off and never call him again.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Who is this?
I mean,
A guy paying for your abortion is not romantic at all. Actually, that means that both people are irresponsible enough to sleep together without being careful, that are not mentally mature to think before deciding, nor to assume the consequences of their actions, which they made out of impulse, by the way. And if you, as Miquita, think that's romantic, please do some self-introspection. Check how your self-esteem, self-love, self-respect are, because having such low standards come from a mind and soul that need some healing. And yes, I'll give it to them. Kids are expensive, that's a reality, and they are a huge responsibility. But if you're conscious about it and you're not ready to deal with it, then the least you can do is protect yourself, not trying to get rid of the problem after you were reckless, and even less with an abortion, because that's a traumatic process in psychological terms. Allow me to explain. Women's bodies are biologically designed to carry children. If you don't get pregnant, you get your period, expose the ovule that wasn't fertilized, and that's it. On the other hand, if that ovule meets with a spermatozoid and they join to create life, your body prepares to carry a fetus, including your heart, your brain, your hormones, your blood supply, your digestive system. Everything gets programmed to carry another human being. If one day you decide to abruptly cut that process through an abortion, your body gets severely stressed. Your hormones, your whole system get all over the place, as something that it was meant to do has been shut down suddenly. That's why after the matter, many women could suffer from mental disorders or could enhance pre-existing psychological conditions. Again, because that balance that was created to carry life has been disrupted all of the sudden, causing the human body to get overall upset. Now, before you tell me, I know there are situations in which abortions are inevitable. They happen due to unforeseen circumstances, and they could end up causing the same exact difficulties, because many of those women that have lost their babies spontaneously really want to become moms, and they need support as well. It's a traumatic and painful experience for sure. Nonetheless, right now I'm talking about people like Lily and Miquita that get a planned contraception due to their own carelessness, and they think it is something to make fun of. It is not. Neglecting yourself and having encounters with various people is already emotionally draining. Getting pregnant because you weren't cautious enough and maybe having arguments with the person you slept with is nerve-wracking. Knowing you're about to get such an invasive procedure that could cause you health issues long-term or even death is mentally taxing. It will leave you with psychological and physical wounds and could increase your mental illnesses as well. Miquita hasn't been that open about her mental health, but you can tell she's emotionally harmed to take a subject like that lightly. That she's so numb to be able to make fun of having submitted her body to contraception 5 times. That could also mean she was just sleeping around with people in an attempt to cope with unhealed issues, or maybe she's so affected by those procedures, and because she hasn't addressed said damage, she's trying to channel her pain by mocking abortions. She's trying to feel better by projecting herself on Lily, who has gone through them as well. She's trying to not feel guilty by saying it is cool, no one is judging us, and she is attempting to lift themselves up by treating this topic as if it was something desirable, but I have to repeat it, that exposes a wounded psyche. On the other hand, Lily has actually talked about her mental health battles. She has been diagnosed with ADHD, eating disorders. As I told you before, since she was a teenager, she started drinking, smoking, using substances. The woman has a troubled history already, and maybe it is rooted on the pressure to be successful due to their famous parents, the desperation of making it into the music industry, which is very competitive, abusive, and exploitative, which could have traumatized her as well. The frustration of dropping out of school to pursue a career that didn't go as expected, and then seeing her classmates thriving while she was still trying to do something, questioning her worth, her life choices at such a young age. Maybe she was trying to channel all of that with substances by having flings with plenty of people, getting pregnant all the time, and taking the impulsive decision of getting abortions. But instead of solving her struggles, she was harming herself more because those could cause her a PTSD and other mental issues in the process. And aside from that, let's say that when you are young, you just want to be wild and free, so you're hooking up with whoever you want, getting accidentally pregnant, and getting abortions to not have the responsibility of raising a kid and keep your untamed lifestyle. What if later on in life you start experimenting health issues as infections, chronic pain, endometriosis, etc.? That could cause you emotional damage due to how stressful it is to deal with them. Or what if you do want to have kids? You know, a contraception could make your future pregnancies difficult, and they could get pretty dangerous, stressful, and worsen your psychological state, right? Lily is an example of it, because at one point she decided to get married and settle down with her now ex-husband Sam Cooper, and when they were trying to form a family, that led to Lily unfortunately having septicemia during her pregnancy, an infection that spreads throughout the whole body, and as a consequence she had a stillbirth, meaning that she gave birth to a dead child, which caused her PTSD. But not only that, then the children she was able to bring into this world came out ill, which then was not only damaging her, but her husband at the time, and most importantly, innocent kids, aside from all of the stress, anxiety, uncertainty that come with having a kid battling with illnesses.
That was a fucking crazy bitch, still am.
Right, got it. Yeah, when did I first get, I mean, I was very excited. I felt like I was like a woman, and we went down to, you know, St. Charles Square Sexual Health Clinic, just off Ladbroke Grove, and you bump into everyone from school like, hi, it's my time as well. I think as a young woman starting your contraceptive journey, I was quite excited. It meant that I was like having sex. Who was it with? Do you know what? It was probably with,
Jasper?
No, I think it was with Julian, who unbelievably has not come up.
Where is that guy?
Around with me.
What is he doing with his life?
Contrary to modern beliefs, you don't need to sleep around with everyone, even less at such young ages, to prove you're an independent adult. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. That doesn't empower you, but rather, as I said, could harm you long term. It hurts your self-esteem, your attachment to people, your meaningful relationships, your views on what love really is, your self-respect, and abortions do all of that, but as I mentioned mentioned before as well, they enhance or trigger mental disorders. Contraception is a serious matter of which people need to be informed and educated, not only about the physiological outcomes, but also the psychological ones, because both of them will affect you significantly and maybe for the rest of your life. And before you say it, I know this video could be considered as a conservative discourse for many out there, but as I told you, I as a psychologist cannot give you a moralistic lecture on if you should or not get a contraception. But what I can tell you is its damaging effects, using Lily and Miquita as an example. But if that is not enough to convince you that I'm coming from a neutral perspective, here are some comments from different users, even from pro-choice and pro-abortion individuals under this podcast episode, that think that these two women crossed the line. Absolutely disgusting and shameful. Abortion was never meant to be used as birth control. I am pro-choice, but if this becomes the norm, I'm changing to pro-life. Grow up, be responsible. I had an abortion when I was 18 and it still haunts me, and I live with guilt every day. I certainly couldn't make light of it. Disgusting being so casual about this subject. Of course, women should have choice over their bodies and not feel shame, but equally, I don't feel abortion is something to mug around with and just make a joke of. We're still talking about creating the beginnings of a life and then the ending of it, so surely it should be a last resort. Listening to them laugh about abortions is one of the most disgusting things I've seen for ages. I booked in for one but couldn't go through with it. If I had my last son, wouldn't be here, and he's a huge personality and popular person. I am pleased I didn't erase that. What stopped me was reading 70% of women regret abortion and 100% do not regret not going through with it. I watched a couple of abortion videos and the tiny hands and couldn't do that to a baby. I get some people are in bad situations and feel it's the only option, but it's not to be laughed about under any circumstances. As someone who had an abortion, this is a disgrace, absolutely tasteless. I've been pro-choice for 18 years. I'm 36. I think I'm pro-life now. I think it is your responsibility to make sure you have appropriate contraception if you don't want to have a baby, not to mention the pressure on the health services when this could have been prevented. Now you're promoting surgical and medical treatments that can be traumatizing for some. Get a coil, take the pill, get your partner sterilized. Plenty of options if you don't want a baby. Give us a break and grow up. I find this conversation incredibly insensitive. I'm very much pro-choice, but I'm generally shocked by what was said. I can understand an unplanned pregnancy happening once, maybe even twice, but to have 10 abortions collectively and then joke about it, it feels deeply irresponsible and selfish. There are women who are longing for children and yet they are making light of the situation. Why not use protection if you knew you didn't want children? I'm pro-choice, but I'm revolted by this. It's one thing to need one, it is another to do it this way and brag about it, no less. Utterly vile. I am 100% for a woman's right to abortion, but treating it like a joke is sick. There is a thing called contraception. Their comments are disgusting and make a mockery of people who have had no choice or who cannot get pregnant. What a sad pair. And all of these things, my friends, show us why contraceptive procedures are not a game at all. Is there something you learned from this video or something that you would like to add to the conversation? Leave it on the comments down below. Also, don't forget to like and share with someone that may find this useful. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you never miss out from more interesting psychology content. Thanks for watching.